morning. I want to share something that happened last night. Um, the Lord has been terrifying me with visions. What I'm about to tell you, I cannot make up, and it had me crying for a long time this morning. Um, Jesus is about to return. He is coming back. He's coming back soon. I don't care if it was for another 50 or 100 years. He's coming back soon. What happened to me last night, and I just asked the Holy Spirit to really help me right now. And my wife was there to witness this. I was coming in and out of what I thought it was sleep, but really it was in and out of a vision. And this vision was terrifying. Now, I'd been doing some fasting a couple of days prior to this. And when I was coming in and out of this, or completely out of this vision that I'm about to tell you, my first question went to myself: had I taken any medicine, or is it something that I ate that would make me, have these visions? And I hadn't. Hell is real. Hell is real. Right now, a lot of people are confused because there's a lot of different ideas people want to put out there about their thoughts of hell. But I'm going to tell you right now, the vision that God gave me was terrifying. And I don't have any reason to lie. And I was a bit skeptical also before, just hearing so many people talk about their experiences. So I would definitely assume people are going to think skeptically about what I'm about to say. But I know what I know, and I know what I experienced. But for whoever this is for, I just pray. I pray it hits home. In this vision, number one, my wife would hear me just yelling, or as I'm coming out of the vision. Because at first I just thought, okay, it's, because I kept trying to go to sleep, and I could not go to sleep because of what I was experiencing was torment. And for me, I was not feeling the torment, I was just witnessing it. I've been walking with the Lord for a while, but one of the things that came out of this vision, God was showing me about women. Um, and he was also showing me about judgment that's coming to a lot of the police departments. But one of the last visions that I saw, because I was coming in and out, and my wife would just hear me just yelling, kind of humming, just making noises. It was to the point to where, this last vision that I saw of this woman, I realized I'm not just having a dream, but I'm actually being shown levels of hell. And so there are about a few different people that I was able to see. The first one I wanted to start out with was this woman, and she was towards the end of the vision, or one of these women, and it had to do with women who, in this situation, this woman was signing up for something she had no idea she was signing up for. She was coming out of a dark place, and she was really stepping into eternity, and her eternity was going to be hell. But she didn't know it. I'm just looking at this from behind the counter of a place, and it was a prison. I was in a prison, a gray, hideous looking prison. And so this young lady, might have been in her 20s, she had on a superhero outfit, and her body was very nice, but I couldn't see her face. I couldn't see her face. And I recognized what was going on, because when I first saw her entering into this place through it was just a dark space, and she looked like a fox. And while I'm seeing this, I'm trying to tell my wife in the bed, but she didn't hear me. But I said, that's a fox that was entering into this place. And she came in, and she bent over onto the table to write her name, sign her name. But she had no idea. She knew what she was, but she didn't know what she really was. It's like she knew what she was signing up for, but she didn't know that there was no end to this place. And what God showed me was that this is women whose body is their superhero. She had on a superhero outfit. I couldn't understand that. And what that was saying was that a lot of women that treat their bodies as a hero to save them. And you have so many women who are prostituting their body or using their body to get money or get what they want in life. And in this place, in hell, your body can't rescue you. Your body will not be able to set you free from this place. Right now on the earth, maybe you are using your body to free yourself from certain problems that you feel like you have, money problems or whatever, to get you access to things in this life. It works now, but it does not work in eternity. And I knew that's what that meant. So there was another person in there. Now we get to some of the torments that I was seeing, because this woman I just described, she just didn't know what she was signing up for. And I'm saying this to women out there. You don't know what you're signing up for. When you're prostituting your body, when you're using your body on this earth to set you free. Your body can't set you free in an eternal hell, in an eternal prison. It won't be able to rescue you. And the only reason why I'm able to say this now is because I've already cried out so many tears. But there was another situation where there was a man who, he was in this building, and this building was about 15,000 feet high. The prison, not the building. I mean, the building was a prison. And he was just wanting to get out. And it's crazy because he was up in his cell at the very top, and he was hearing that it was time for him to exit. And the torment of it was that he would never exit. He would find himself at the very bottom, which there was really no way to get down to the bottom of this place. But he would get to the bottom and realize that he was not leaving. And he was all the way back at the top. Endless torment. It was like he was committing suicide. To come from where he was at to reach the bottom of, or the surface, bottom level of this prison. But he couldn't die. He couldn't die. Now, as I'm in this place, I'm recognizing that there are levels. There's levels to this place. There was a woman who was in there, and she was depressed. But what I saw, it was so scary. I'd never seen anything like this in a horror movie or anything like that. I don't even look at horror movies. But this was horrifying, what I'm saying, what I saw here. She had her face up against, and there was no smooth walls in this prison. This gray, old gray prison. and she had just had her head and face up against the wall. But she had been there for so long that her flesh was entwined in the wall and in the bars. Her flesh was wrapped around the bars, and the bars would like move, and they would turn, rotate, and go in and out of the walls. And her flesh was wrapped around. I'm talking about her head, her brains, her eyes was all shifted out of place and contorted, and it was the most hideous thing you can imagine. And you could hear her pain and her screaming, recognizing, knowing that she would never leave this place, and the length of time that she'd been there, she had become the prison. Her flesh was inside the prison, like wrapped inside of the bars of this prison. And she was feeling the torment of it. Her eyeballs and everything was just being forced and squeezed out of place. It was just disgusting. It was horrifying. And the sound of the rotation of those bars grinding, the grinding sound of it, I still hear. Then there was another woman in there, and as I'm trying to exit this place, I was getting excited to the point where I started just thanking God. And I saw a woman, I was just kind of bowing, thanking God. But for whatever reason, this older lady was off in a distance. And it was like I was bowing to her, because for a moment I'm like, is this the Lord? I don't know what it was about this, but it wasn't, obviously. But the woman said, no, don't bow to me. But she couldn't stop bowing herself. But she didn't want me to bow in her direction as to be worshiping God or nothing. She was a woman that God showed me who had been worshiping herself. And yet in this place of torment, she did not want to be worshiped. But the feeling of wanting to worship never left her. She still had a desire to worship. And that's the thing. People who are sentenced to hell in eternity are still going to have a desire to worship. But this place that they were in where she was worshiping, had been worshiping herself on the earth, she did not want to feel that no more. Then all of a sudden I found myself in front of some abandoned building. 2-story, but the walls was out. It was like it was an open garage with 2 levels. There's all this prison colors, just this hideous gray. But as I was shouting Jesus in this vision, it was two beings that I saw inside of this abandoned building, and they had hatred in their eyes. It's terrible hatred. But they would back up as I would shout the name of the Lord. But they were looking at me with hatred, deep hate. It's almost, they were just filled with hate. And the next thing you know, I found myself in front of this vehicle. It's like it was a police vehicle or something. And I'm looking at what appeared to be some officer or some person of the law, and standing behind him was some type of deathly figure or being that had a metal face, and it had a knife pointed directly into its back. But this being was a being of judgment. It was a being of judgment. And it was as though judgment was coming to the police departments. You know, I have something else to say before I have to go run into work, but there was a situation that happened in the dream, in this vision, not the dream, but it was 4 dark black horses. They looked like Belgian horses, but they were black and strong. They were pulling something out of the ground, and it was a root the size of a tree. And they were pulling, and it was like 13 men trying to motivate these horses to pull this root out the ground. And as soon, and I was like championing it, wanting to see those horses pull it out. And as soon as it got pulled out, no longer than a second that it was right at the point of it being out, then here comes this white, magnificent horse with judgment and fire, a fiery look on his face, coming to judge. And God showed me that that was judgment that was coming upon the earth, but things are being uprooted first. And as soon as they're completely uprooted, and what that means is things like now we're seeing things be exposed that have been hidden underground, like the Epstein files. Just things are being uprooted, and that was analogous to things being exposed. And we wonder why the Lord hadn't come back yet. It's because things are still being exposed, and everything is going to be brought to the light. And then it'll be to the point to where God comes back, and he won't wait a moment. It's like he will not tarry. Once what needs to be revealed is revealed.